Hi, Inde. Ma, hola. Sorry, I'm setting up a couple of things on my phone. There we go. I just needed to get some stuff done. Hey, Roger. Hi, Inde. And hi, Mom. My mom's here. At least I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people who can say not even your mom was there, because she's here. Anyway, so thank you really much for joining. And like I said, this was gonna be Star Trek episode. No, that's my mom. Hey, Ben, thank you for joining in, and live, love, and prosper. Okay, so now everyone's saying hello to my mom. That's actually nice. All right, so today was about Star Trek. I know that a couple of live streams that I did were more about Velma and the reaction to Velma's show. I just could go through the second episode because of how shite it was, honestly. If you hear noise, because right now it's my dog's feeding time, so they're always going to be like eating all the time. And thank you. I got this mandala from Amazon. Anyway, I got till the second episode. Yeah. It's horrible. It's pretty. It's cringy. It's not funny. I did the live reactions to both. Hey, Pop Shop. What's it? Pop Shop. I don't know how to call you. Anyway, so let me just stay here. I'm going to sound a bit weird because I got the flu on Thursday, and I had a terrible weekend. Today I feel a lot better. I'm not 100% alright, but I'm 300% better than I was yesterday. I was so sick. Like, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't do anything. So today I decided I want to make a live stream at least every weekend. And I didn't want to miss this opportunity because I finally got like decent internet to be doing all of this. If you feel like, if you see I'm moving, it's because Robin, there she is. Robin keeps moving all the time. Okay. So there we go. So about Star Trek, I haven't watched the 8th episode of the second season. Holy shit, I don't even know what's the Robin always demands space because she occupies a lot of space. She's fat. I'm gonna have to keep this computer on. Okay, so. Oh, next episode is I Mud. Now I remember, because I actually spoke about it in my review video, that it was going to be that one. So, in all honesty, when I watched Mud's Women, I think, yeah, like the Mud character, Harry Winston Mudd, I think it's his name. I didn't like his character that much. And a lot of people were saying things like, oh, but you don't understand, he was not trafficking women and all that. And some other people say, like, yeah, no matter what we call it, it was human trafficking and all that. So, it's quite, I think those are the kind of episodes that become really controversial nowadays, and that will not be accepted now. Hardcore Fenton, yes, Fenton. Sorry, it's not like I really care about remembering his name. I really didn't like the character, like Harry Mudd. Few recurring characters. For as much as I can say, both episodes actually take his name on it, like Mudd's Women and I Mudd. And for the kind of character that Mr. Mudd is, it's like, yeah, could you have taken somebody else to honor? Like you could honor um, Captain Christopher from Tomorrow Is Yesterday. I would have liked to see that as a recurring character. Probably Captain Core, Commander, Commodore. I can't remember. Like it's the Klingon person. Um, I probably would have liked those characters to come back. I know that Khan does, but until the movie. So yeah, it's the kind of thing, that it really, if there's a light change, it's because my computer, my screen just start going to sleep. Um, so yeah, it's not, Mutt is definitely not my favorite. Mud in the animated series, well, that's a bummer. In all honesty, like it's not really my favorite character. The thing is that sometimes it's, at least from where I could see from Mutt's Women, he's more like what I call a one gear blender, you know. But I don't know, probably I Mud will change this and probably he'll become more likable. I don't know. It happens with some characters with some other TV shows that at first you don't really like the way that they are, but somehow they make them likable. The Sal is my favorite recurring character. Well, the thing is that the Sal has already been here for about, what, 3 times? Motorcycle. And in all honesty, what the Sal has done, at least in the two that I can remember, he's been a good character. He's not obnoxious. And he was, now that he was in charge of the Enterprise, in the reaction video, I was really surprised at how logical he was as a commander, that he was not just taking one-sided choices. He was actually he was actually making the choices by listening to the people on the bridge. Riley, oh, the good old Riley. Riley, you know what? In all honesty, Riley is a little deeper than many other characters out there. Like you do understand Riley from where he comes from. Like in the conscious, what's the conscience of the king? I think it is. There's a backstory to Riley, and that makes him a bit deeper. He's a bit more substance to him, which makes me appreciate the character. And even though we don't have a backstory for the Sal, I think that the way that he's portrayed, at least in a couple of episodes, appears to be an intelligent man. He appears to know the line of command. So yeah, that's probably why I like the Sal as a character. But I don't know how recurring he will be. So yeah. So in my opinion, definitely one of those two. Like Riley is also likable. But I mean, I'm still beginning the first season, so I really don't know who else is going to be recurring. But yeah, that will be like the best character. He gives you a sense of how lonely sailors can get in the conscience of the king. I think it's probably one of the things that he portrays. Like he is definitely not a one. He's not a one-dimensional character or a one-gear blender, because he really has more to offer. he portrays more, he reflects more, he projects more than other characters, and that's probably why Riley can be so likable. Um, and I mean, don't forget Captain Pike, even though it wasn't the same character, he came back somehow in this horrible form. Uh, so yeah, it's the uh, Riley's a good character. I can say. I can definitely say. Okay, finally, Flash is on his bed. He spends like 15 minutes before actually going to bed, but now he did. Anyway, so speaking about favorite episodes, so I was asked a couple of times, like what my favorite episode so far. So I think the one that has touched me the best is the City on the Edge of Forever. I really enjoy the episode. Definitely. Hey Wayne, I'm a bit better from the flu. Thank you. Um, I'm definitely really partial to the City on the Edge of Forever. As many, I have no idea how many views that video has. Probably around 2,000 maybe. So 2,000 people have seen me crying like a baby when watching this episode because it's so good. But like everyone has said, Flash is well, in terms of right now he's lying down. In terms of health, he's getting worse every day. He has good days, he has bad days every now and then. But yeah, every time more he's becoming more crippled and more senile. Um, so it's kind of becoming a little more difficult anyway. Oh, and he's shaved, in case anyone can. Um, I know that this Harlan person that wrote the episode is probably one of the most renowned sci-fi writers, and it shows because of the quality and the writing of this episode. City, The Naked Time, and Balance of Terror. So The Naked Time for me, it's a funny episode, and it kind of it's I find it as a good episode. Harlan Ellison's book on. No, really, I haven't had the time. I haven't even had the time to watch the episodes, let alone to read a book right now. That's not about the things that I need to translate. But no, it's been really packed for the past year and this starting year, especially with Flash being so sick now. It's become a nightmare. So I'll try to find time for that later. Um, anyway, so it's the City on the Edge of Forever. My second favorite episode. Well, The Surfman. Dude, the Surfman was quite a shocking episode for me. Like, I had no idea where that was going. Harlan Ellison won an award for that episode, I believe. Yeah, I was reading something about it on some wiki something page, and they did mention something about how two episodes on the first season were nominated. Like one of them was The Return of the Archons and The City on the Edge of Forever. And it's funny how these both episodes, even though they were nominated back in the day, today it's different. Like a lot of people don't remember or don't hold that dear. Uh, the Return of the Archons compared to The City on the Edge of Forever. And I think it's quite easy to tell why. The story is completely different, obviously, but how it's sustained. Obviously, The City on the Edge Forever holds better than The Return of the Archons. Like, there is no inconsistency in the characters, and I think that's what's important. In The City on the Edge of Forever, I feel there's everything is so cohesive. It stays true to the characters. Like, there's no inconsistency in any of our main characters, but neither on Edith and on, the situation that's happening, and on the Return of the Archons, like first you got these three rebels, and then they back up, like no, 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 we don't want any problems and all. Will be 92. Well, yeah, he's old. He's. It's great to see how people are reaching older ages more easily now. Like people are actually reaching over 110 years old today. When I remember when I was a child, saying that someone was already 100 years old was like, and today, like 100 years, it's still for some like, oh, that's old, but for some others like, I'm 103. So yeah, it's, I guess progress really goes a long way for us as a race, but not for the planet, definitely. So yeah, it's has the pros and cons, I would say. So yeah, I was I it's sometimes I kind of forget about checking the messages and the comments that people live. Sorry, my nose is starting to try to go on its own. I took a medicine before during this live stream, so I wouldn't be like with my nose all runny and all, but handling. So some people leave comments, and I totally forget about reading them. I remember when I first started this channel, I would get notifications for every single comment that people will leave on my videos. And after some video, I can't remember when, I just stopped receiving notifications. And then I was like, holy shit, I have a lot of comments, new comments, but I never got any notification, not even from YouTube and not from YouTube Studio, that I had new comments. So every now and then I revisit the videos to see what people have said, the new viewers. And it's a world where you it's, I don't know how to say, but when it comes to fandoms, I feel like when you enter the fandom, whatever fandom you get into, like sports and cinema and arts, whatever fandom you want to get into, it's like, no, I mean receive notifications. We have learned to take better care of the earth. Takes time to see the results. Yeah, well, I mean, Joan Collins is also a great actress. Beautiful, I have to say. But I think they do have chemistry. And not because they are great actors doesn't mean that they will have chemistry. It's like Angelina Jolie and, oh, Johnny Depp. They are great actors by themselves, but together it's just shite. Uh, I don't think I haven't ever met a person that I've seen The Tourist. So yeah, they do have chemistry. Sorry, my YouTube studio. Like I said, I don't visit my YouTube studio unless I have uploaded a video. So I always used to wait for the notifications for me to let me know that I had a new comment. But now notifications, sometimes I get them, but it's like once a month. And I don't get one comment on my videos a month. I get a lot more than that. I don't know how many more, but I definitely get more than once a month anyway. But yeah, what I was saying about the fandoms is that for me, when you enter a fandom, not like you become, but when you need to address a fandom, it's like when you go to a store where everything is made of glass. That's how I feel. You don't want to touch anything because everything else is going to fucking break. And this is the thing. I mean, one thing is when you admire something and you go like, wow, this is fucking awesome. Like a sports team. Like you can have your sports team and like every single player and hope they win every single match and everything, and you're a fan, okay? The same thing happens when you are a fan of a singer. You buy all of their albums, you listen to all of their songs, you probably try to go to a concert, all of them, you know? But there's a point where it's not, in my opinion, and this is just me, my opinions. Patrol car. One thing that I really don't consider to be healthy is when people do not accept criticism to their thing. Okay? When they have to absolutely excuse every single thing that you criticize about the thing they like. Oh no, it's just you didn't get it. Oh no, it's perfect. No, it has no mistakes. And that's when you go like, oh, shit, where am I? It's, in my opinion, it's kind of, it's not nice. My favorite saying, my favorite reaction was Space Heat when Khan said, "Please sit and entertain me." Yeah, it's the kind of behavior that I fucking hate. I mean, in all honesty, Khan in that moment behaved like Andrew Tate. Does anyone here know? I think Andrew Tate became a lot more famous now because of the Greta Thunberg thing that happened, that he got arrested after having a feud with Greta Thunberg. So yeah, Khan looked a bit misogynistic, and you guys know how I feel about misogynistic characters and, you know, the damsel in distress kind of character. And yeah, I mean, people can, some people, it just kind of baffles me that if I say something that it's not 100% like, oh my god, this is so good about Star Trek, they go like, nah, you have to understand. No, I don't have to understand shit. I don't have to. Because this is what art is. Art is meant to be understood on the time it's being experienced. That's it. That's it. Okay? Not because it was popular does it mean that it has to be accepted today. This is one of the things that makes people clash. Okay? And in all honesty, it's art. And art is meant to be experienced individually first, and then your community. Okay? So, for example, you get a sculpture, you might see a sculpture, and you might like it, and other people might find it offensive. That doesn't mean you're right, doesn't mean you're wrong. It just makes you have a taste. People like country music. People fucking hate country music. I personally hate reggaeton. You know, for me, it's a misogynistic type of music. Not only because the rhythm is stupid, like it has only 3 beats. I mean, we used to call pop music stupid because it was 4 chords. Reggaeton has only 3, okay? And the lyrics are always about being a macho and the girl has to be a sex object. I fucking hate it, okay? Does it mean that everyone that likes reggaeton is a fucking idiot? Not precisely. It's just that I don't like it, okay? And when you start watching something for the first time, in my case, I'm now going to go into the Star Trek thing, is I watched Star Trek not because I wanted to, and I made this clear on my past live stream. Star Trek was not my first choice. My first choice was Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. Just give me a second. Flash wants to get up. Sorry. He needs to get up, so I have to lift him up, and then I have to turn the lights on because he can't see for shit, and then I have to open the doors because he can't push them for shit. Anyway, um, yeah, because of the geo thing, like I couldn't see the Wonder Woman series anywhere. I wanted to watch MacGyver. Also was my second choice. No luck. The Spider-Man series, same thing. The Hulk, all series, and especially because I think this was 2019, and I think Avengers Endgame had just passed, or was somewhere in. No, it was after Avengers. So and the MCU Phase 4 had just started, and this is why I was really choosing between those. Had no luck anywhere, so Star Trek was there, and I started it. I really feel kind of conflicted now that people think this is a Trekkie channel because it isn't. Okay, it's a sci-fi channel. Yes, Star Trek is sci-fi, but sci-fi is not Star Trek. There are many other things out there, and I am definitely not going to become a Trekkie because that's not who I am. You see, it's not because Star Trek is not good enough, it's just because I don't like fandoms. I like a lot of things, and I will always hold them dear, but I will never become a Trekkie because that's not who I am. Okay? I am a free spirit belonging to nobody, if you want to see it that way, but I am definitely not going to become a Trekkie. Okay? But I like enjoying it, definitely. And so far, for all the episodes that I've watched, how many has it been? 30, 37 episodes so far from Star Trek, plus 3 of the new movies. So that doesn't make me an expert, nor I want to become one. But so far, what I've seen has been quite enjoyable. Save a couple of episodes that have been like, oh my god, when is this going to end? But they have been only the fewest compared to how many I've really, really liked from Star Trek. It has the great moments, it has the terrible moments, and moments that I will always laugh at, like the arena fight. I don't remember getting so much criticism as I had from Arena. Like, there was this one person saying, I would like to see you in a costume at whatever degrees. Guess what? I have. I have. Okay, I used to work in theater, in children's theater, so I know what it is to wear a big fucking heavy costume in Venezuela, outside, where it's fucking hot. I know what it is. And I know what it is to be in the costume for 3 hours straight and be right on cue. And it's not just being there in a T position. No, I had to dance, I had to jump, I had to run, I had to act. I know what it is. Okay? So, I get my permission to criticize this episode? I don't need it. I'm sure it is hotter there than in it is. Trust me, it is. And it's not the only place that I've been. I've been to Costa Rica. Same problem. Where else was I with this one play? Panama. Though Panama is not so hot because it's really humid. So I think also because of the altitude it's not so hot, but it's definitely hot. So yeah, I kind of know what it is to be in a hot place with a very heavy costume where you can't see properly, and still act on cue and dance and run and jump. So yeah, I know what it is. Um, and some other criticism. I just got a long list of comments like, why Why are you commenting when people are revealing? Oh, God. Like, why? If you kept quiet, you could have your questions answered. And I'm like, no, I don't think you're getting what am I asking, right? I used to consider myself a Trekkie, but probably not recently because I haven't kept up with the new series. The thing is, listen, the new series, as far as I've heard, they're shite. I have no idea why, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be very different from the original series and probably from the next generation. The thing is, things have to change. Things have to fit to whatever time you're living today. And right now, I believe, and this is just my belief, I believe that television and cinema are going through a terrible, terrible phase, which is, I'm gonna start with a woke thing, but yeah, most of the writers today are people younger than me. So they are fucking woke, okay? Is it wrong to be woke? Not precisely. What I think is wrong is to try to make everything woke. Trying to make everyone woke. That's what's wrong. It's like trying to make everyone vegan or make everyone, I don't know, speak English, if you may. The thing is, this is where the powers are accumulating. In one of the criticisms I got from Star Trek, what is it, Discovery? I think it's one of the latest series that have been out there. And apparently it was way too woke. And this is why people didn't like it. Exactly. The thing is, try to extend things that have already been done. Yeah. I mean, that's merchandise. You know, we had a great Star Wars trilogy, and that's where it should have ended. We didn't need the prequels. I didn't need to know why Darth Vader became Darth Vader. I didn't need to see a young Obi-Wan Kenobi. We didn't need them. And we didn't need the other three movies they're even worse than the prequels. You know? We don't need some of these things. The thing is, people don't have any good new ideas. And the good new ideas that are out there don't last that long. And that's okay. Star Trek lasted only 3 seasons, and that was enough. But no, now that we're trying to, oh, this is good? Let's make it last 11 seasons. I'm talking to you, The Walking Dead. It's horrible because you could have just stopped at the 6th season, call it a day. No, you had to go through another 6 more years. And ruins things. It's a shame that a show cannot go, chin up with a great success. Case in point, Westworld. Westworld should have ended in the 2nd season, in my opinion. It probably should have had a different ending so that everything will close. But it didn't. They did leave an a season finale that you needed the 3rd season to continue the story, obviously. And in the end, the 3rd and the 4th seasons were so fucking awful that I was really sorry because the first 2 seasons were awesome. Like, really awesome. And this is because people don't have, I don't know if it's these new writers, these young writers, don't have the capability to keep up with the stories. And one of the things that I am 100% sure is that these writers don't have maturity when writing down their stories. I would say they don't have any maturity when writing down their stories, I would say. it's kind of sad because there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of talent. And the problem is that we had a lot of talent back in the day. We had great directors, we had great writers, we had great actors, we had great producers and all that. But now everything is getting cancelled. And it's kind of bad, I would say, because you cancel a person for a personal reason. I'm trying to find a good example about who to cancel. I was thinking about Kevin Spacey, but he's not the kind of thing. He's not the right example here. But for example, you if I would speak about Kevin Spacey, okay, he did. Oh, Harvey Weinstein. Okay, so Harvey Weinstein is a fucking monster. Horrible monster. Okay, but he's got great movies. So, are we going to say those movies are shite? Diego Maradona, the great footballer. I don't know if you guys. Is anyone familiar with Diego Maradona, the footballer? It's a soccer, in case you're American. Diego Maradona was an Argentinian football player. One of the best. Some people still fight between Pelé and Maradona, who was supposed to be better. I'm team Pelé, obviously. Diego Armando Maradona was a shite person, and I mean like a shite person. I am so not kidding. There was a boy with some sort of disability. His dream was to score a goal to Maradona. They set everything up. Maradona is standing in front of the goalie. The kid somehow pushes the ball. Maradona doesn't let the goal go in. No, he catches the ball and starts celebrating because he stopped the goal. And the poor child is sitting there like, holy shit, I didn't score. And the guy is like, yeah, I stopped the goal. The kid was crippled. That's how shite he was. And I'm not even speaking about all the drugs he did, all the comments he did. I'm just giving you one tiny sample of how a shite person he is. And yet, I would never say he was a shite player. I would never say that. Because he was a pretty good player. The original series writers had life experience and had lived through or served in dumb. Yeah, I get that. That's not the only reason that will make you a good writer. Definitely. I mean, I don't think Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraft, Anne Rice were war experienced. And here in my case, we had great writers as well. Isabel Allende, for example, from The House of the Spirits. Juan Rulfo, Luis Pota. They're not necessarily war experienced, but definitely they had things happening in their lives that marked them and gave them a reason to write. Today's writers are only basing what they write on popular demand. That's the problem. Oh, this is popular, let's exploit it. Today, right now, what sells is nostalgia. Ay, ma, gracias. Conscience of the King is from the point of view of what if Hitler had lived. You know what? The Conscience of the King was those kind of episodes that I only watched once. And I briefly watched it again because I had to edit it, but it really didn't get my attention at all. But Sorry, I totally forgot. Yeah. So today's writers, what I believe is that they are. She just pushed me. Robin just pushed me. Anyway, they don't have the maturity to go through deeper things in life, and if they did, they try to hide it. Okay? Everything is about nostalgia. Everything is about remembering how good the 80s were. Oh, do you remember how great the music was in the 80s? Let's exploit this and make Stranger Things. And don't get me wrong, I love Stranger Things. Trust me, I'm a big fan of David Harbour because of Stranger Things. I love the man. Um, New Star Trek is for twins. Maybe, maybe. And yet, like I've said before, I'm the kind of person that tries to find the good thing in whatever I'm watching. I did try to find something good on Velma, failed miserably because it was pretty bad. Uh, but probably this is what it doesn't make me feel depressed about the things that I watch every now and then. It's like the new Star Trek movies. The new Star Trek movies, for some people, are the worst thing that could have ever happened to Star Trek. Not for me. Because if I hadn't watched the new movies, I wouldn't chosen Star Trek to begin with. Okay? You're right about the writers. I once talked to a movie person shooting a film in New Mexico. I told her to stop making movies for teenagers. Hey, listen, movies for teenagers are not bad. Okay? Teenagers movies are okay. I mean, I was a teenager and I enjoyed teenager movies back in the day. I was a huge fan of teenager actors. I was crazy about Elijah Wood. And I mean, look at the child. When he was a child, he was a beautiful child. He was so beautiful, and I used to watch his movies when he was a teenager because I was a huge fan. I loved Flipper, shite movie. I was a teenager. Teenager movies are not bad. The thing is, they're trying to make now adult movies using the nostalgia element because we have nothing else. Conscience of the King had a subtle storytelling that references in dialogue to death, like McCoy saying command is like a noose, or the door to the lounge being shaped like a casket, etc. Went over my head. Went over my head. There were so many distracting elements in the Conscience of the King that I don't know. It just went over my head. And sometimes I get right on the nail. Like I'm, bang on the money when I find the meaning of some episodes. Some others are just too distracting. And in my opinion, it would be a bad or a good episode. But that's just my opinion, and my opinion is a fucking moot point. You know, I love Flipper too, but Star Trek should be deep, not just another Star Wars movie with some but 20 lightsabers. Hey, listen, the Star Wars movies, the original ones, were not bad, in my opinion. And I know that for some people, oh no, Star Trek is the shit. No. Star Wars is the shit. For me, they're both good. They're both good. And I'm not gonna say one is better than the other right here now because I will lose my viewership. It's just that they are two different things. They're two different things, and it will be kind of stupid to try to compare them in the same level, especially because one was 10 years prior to the other one. People go like, oh, it's just that Star Trek is fantasy. Whatever, it's in space. It's in space, and we got pilots, and we got federations, and we got politics that are different. Well, I didn't see the magic element or the fantasy element in the new Star Trek movies. Okay? I do respect the new Star Trek movies. Okay? I won't respect the third one so much, and because I have seen Space Seed now, and I can compare Space Seed to Star Trek Into Darkness, I understand, not meaning that I share, but I understand why so much the hatred against Star Trek Into Darkness. Okay? Again, if it hadn't been for the three movies, the J.J. Abrams movies, I wouldn't have watched the original series. And this is something that people need to learn. Sometimes the new things attract people to watch the original. Like if there's a person, a child, who had never seen anything about Star Trek, and their parents were like, "Oh, no, let's go watch Star Trek movie," and he was like, "Oh, wow, this is fucking amazing." Oh, well, this was from an original movie, series back in the '60s. The child will be like, "You know what? I feel like I want to watch it." So the new movies are a portal for younger generations to get into the old original series. They are not so shite. Okay? Definitely not so shite. They opened the door for me to watch the original series. There's no comparison to Ricardo Montalban. No, because they are different. Because they are different. That's it. The current shows calling themselves Star Trek are generally disliked greatly by fans of the shows from the original series through Enterprise. Anything after that is not considered Star Trek. And this is the thing. Who is the authority to call what is and what isn't? I know. The producers. Thank you, Turtle. Turtle times two. Into Darkness was awful. That's your opinion. And it's a valid opinion, you know? I personally, now that I see Captain Kirk, no. I'm sorry, Pleasant Valley, but the fans don't own Star Trek. Fans consume it and like it or dislike it, but they don't command. That's reality. Okay. So now that I've been able to see Captain Kirk and see how he is, how he behaves, yeah, Chris Pine was not the best choice for Captain Kirk, definitely. Sorry, I have to keep reading. Contact with Doomcock and be one of his guests. You would be perfect. Is it you? Oh, I've never heard of him. You might probably want to leave a link to his channel. I haven't watched them, you know. I don't recall if you've seen Forbidden Planet. No, I haven't. Oh yeah. By the way, I already spoke about Forbidden Planet, and I am definitely going to watch Forbidden Planet, but I haven't had the time. I was so sick. I was planning on recording another Firefly episode. The Firefly series has been so difficult because I understand that there was a big fuck up when they opened the series and they started like in a different order that they should have been. So some people accommodate the episodes as they were aired, but some others as they should be. So I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going. So yeah, like it's been kind of like that. Anyway, things change. The things change, and not for that reason does it mean things stop being what they are. Like my country, for example, I'm Mexican. I've said that 1,000 times. Yeah, Mexican. I just said it. One of Doomcock's friends is Mexican Iron Man. Holy shit, he's a Tony Stark. Check out Overlord DVD. Oh, I know the Critical Drinker. I love the Critical Drinker. I used to run one in the early 70s for the reruns. I like the critical drinker. However, I don't always agree with the critical drinker because he does make very stupid observations. Like this guy was not paying attention to the movie. Oh wow, Shatner. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever met like hello, my name is Tamara. No, I don't. I have seen uh, people like I've seen Tom Cruise from afar when he visited Mexico, and I once saw Michael. Holy shit, what's his name? Ah, ah, fuck. Oh my god, I forgot his name. You know, Kill Bill, Bill's brother, Mr. Brown from Reservoir Dogs, the cool dad from Free Willy. Holy shit, what is his name? Can't remember his name. Does anyone? Madison. Yes. No. Madsen. Yes, Michael Madsen, not Madison. Michael Madsen. I saw him coming out of a lift when I was in Dominican Republic, and there was a film festival in Dominican Republic, and that's why he was there. He's a really tall orange guy. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all of the comments. Anyway, I think they were not meant for me. So yeah, the critical drinker, I love him because he makes really good jokes, and he has like sometimes his jokes repeat, but they are pretty good. But yeah, sometimes he makes pretty big omissions, like he was not really paying attention to some parts. So I take his criticisms with a bit of a grain of salt when it's about something that I have not watched yet. So yeah, I think he's sometimes very much on point about the criticisms that he makes. I also like Phil Mentos and Mahler. They're pretty good. I saw Gene Roddenberry in the 1970s due to a live presentation in Atlanta. Oh, wow. So, oh, Saul Kaplan did the music for the Doomsday Machine, which is probably the best musical score of any television series in the history of television. Oh, that's your, that's a great opinion you have on the music. Um, I don't know if, well, I suppose the Emmys probably have a count ranking on the musical preferences, I guess. Um, I know that sometimes we can get really deep in love with the things that we watched, Noel, but when someone doesn't go that deep, it doesn't mean that we're wrong, you know. But it's great to see people that gets to be so passionate about something. It's great to see that a show can create a community the way that Star Wars fandom is a community, Star Trek fandom. I don't know if that the Battlestar Galactica is meant for me, but I haven't watched it. It's not that. The thing is that sometimes I remember I used to watch. Well, I did watch the movie, you know, the Stargate movie. And the thing is that I'm a big fan of Egypt. I'm a bigger fan of Egypt or ancient Egypt than I am of any other TV show or movie or anything. And this is why I loved Stargate, because it was related, and it was related in a completely different fashion that I have ever seen. Crazy, ludicrous, if you want to call it. It was awesome. And then they made it a series with MacGyver, by the way. So it kind of I lost my interest when you have to be like keeping in touch, and there are so many other things that you want to watch. Back in 1974, when Jaws the shot was coming at you, is the exact identical music which years ago Star Trek had it in the first Doomsday episode as Matt Decker drove the shuttlecraft down its throat. I also watch music reactions. I've learned the meanings of certain songs I love. I determined that my interpretation's better. Holy shit! Wait! I'm reading. Ah, it's different than Star Trek very serious show and covers lots of socially relevant topics. So my point is Steven Spielberg when he came out with Jaws and the iconic music. Oh my god, yeah, they all steal from Star Trek. Poor Star Trek. Um, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's um, you might say stole. Uh, some people call it inspiration. Nichelle Nichols. Oh my god, my dearest Nichelle Nichols. She did a musical tour singing performances and was about to begin working with. Oh, really? That's awesome. The original Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula. I watched Quantum Leap, definitely. Is there a remake? I like Scott Bakula as Sam Beckett. You had a tracker kid. Thank you, Fred. Um, yeah, I loved Quantum Leap, and I do remember a lot of episodes of Quantum Leap. Um, the thing Here's the thing about the Star Trek series. This is the thing. Let me explain. There's a sequel. Is it a sequel or is it a remake? Because I had no idea there was anything else about Quantum Leap done. Like, I just watched the first, and I was really sad when Dean Stockwell died. I was like, oh my god, Al died. Um, but yeah, I was a big fan. I met Leonard Nimoy at a convention back in 1976. That's amazing. Oh, it's a sequel. Well, I'm not really that interested in it. Did you see that Nichelle Nichols interview where she was telling some guy that she was going to quit Star Trek, but she was talking to Martin Luther King, who told her that she needs to stay in Star Trek? Well, yeah, I could see that coming because she was black woman in the 60s in a great character. That was unheard of, you know. And she was giving a great mm, she was inspiring young black women back in the day. Like, you see, it's not you can do it. So yeah, I can see where that comes from. Um, Sorry, I need to stop it from here, but because I think my bandwidth is going awry, and I need to charge it back in. Uhura opened the door for many black actors. I agree. It's not the first racial kiss. No! The first racial kiss was between an Asian woman and Shatner. If you want to call it the first kiss between an African American and a white person, then yes. But it's not the first racial kiss. This story was part of her public presentation when she did the public tours. Martin Luther King, a most moving story. Well, that's amazing. Um, yeah, man, black and white. Yeah, I get that, but not the first racial kiss. But it's kind of incredible that it's actually William Shatner who did both the first racial kiss and first the African white kiss. Okay, that's Shatner. So that speaks a lot about William Shatner also. Um, in the end, because a lot of other actors would go like, "Fuck no, I'm not doing it." But yeah, he was like, I'm up for it," you know. So yeah, I don't know. I think if someone said, who's a person that you would like to share a couple of beers with? William Shatner will be probably one of my choices. Um, him. Well, everyone else is dead. And the Carl Burnett show. I have no idea. I do remember that I watched this video about debunking myths, and one of the debunked myths was that Uhura's and Shatner's kiss was the first racial kiss, and they debunked it, like saying no, this was the first kiss by showing the Asian woman, the girl who's the belly dancer on the episode Wolf in the Fold. I watched her in an interview. Oh well, I haven't watched it, so don't spoil it. Because remember, I try to watch as the least amount of spoilers for every of the episodes. But now I got like, oh, you should be reading the synopsis before you watch them. Oh well, that's a keeper. Any like you're dating someone and oh, I'm separating, and all they can speak about is their ex. Yeah, don't do that. Trust me, don't. Uh, anyway, I was telling you about the new movies compared to what I see now, and that Chris Pine was, I get it, was not a good choice for Shatner. Well, for Kirk, because, and I think that the reason why they changed it so much is that because today people like a lot more to see action rather than seeing, the intelligence and all that the first Captain Kirk had. However, I do respect the other three. I didn't like Zoe Saldana as Uhura. Um I didn't I think she was not a good cast for her either. But I did like Carl Urban as Bones. At first I thought he's too rough, he's too bulky, he was Judge Dredd. He was in the Lord of the Rings, he was in, the Riddick movies, he was always like an action man, and then I was like, Bones, is that really Bones? And I thought he was totally miscast, but then his performance was a bit like the Forest Kelly. I mean, not trying to copy him or anything, but it does, I do feel the vibe now of McCoy. Now, Zachary Quinto's Spock, he was great. He was great. He was not trying to be identical to Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy, when he was still alive, he had nothing bad to say about Zachary Quinto's performance. Um, Even the tone of his voice was very much like I now I remember Leonard Nimoy. So I think that was a great cast decision. Now, um, Simon Pegg as Scotty. Now, you guys know I love Simon Pegg, and he's another person I will drink a couple of beers with, definitely. Because he's a fucking nerd and I love it. And his Scottish accent was quite decent, but I mean, he's married to a Scottish woman, so of course he's got the accent. And he understands Star Trek. He's a fan. He is a true Star Trek fan. The problem is that he doesn't have any power to say, no, you shouldn't be doing this. And he's just an actor. He's just a performer, so he cannot say what they should be doing. But I did enjoy his performance. But he really didn't make... for some reason, I didn't get the Scotty's vibe in his character. I just think it's a different Scotty. Maybe they shouldn't have named him the same. And yeah, when it comes to Khan, like people say, there you can't compare. Yeah, I know I can't compare Khan, Cumberbatch, to Ricardo Montalban because they are just so different one from another. Ricardo Montalban looked I've said it, I think, 1,000 times. He looked regal. He looked menacing. He looked powerful, and I couldn't see that from Cumberbatch. I thought Pine, Quinto, and Urban did fine jobs portraying Kirk's book. Not carbon copies, yeah. This Kirk is just younger. Yeah, this Kirk is younger, definitely. But I think he's very different from the other Kirk. And it's not because one is more adventurous or one does get dirty, or it's not about it. It's about the vibe that they portray. It's completely different. But in all honesty, if I try to think about a new actor around the ages that might have fit, I wouldn't know who to say. I had a crush on the chick who played the android woman in the episode with Roger Corby called. Well, she's beautiful, but I can't remember her name in the episode. But yeah, she's beautiful. Sherry Jackson. Yeah, I if you've seen my reaction to it, well, I didn't make a reaction. I made a comment on that episode, and I think she's absolutely gorgeous on that one. Cumberbatch as Khan was the worst idea in the. Oh, yeah, the thing is that Cumberbatch was the it name back in the day, and I know that he was chosen for being popular and because a lot of people has the notion that he's a great actor. He is a great actor, but he's not Meryl Streep good, you know. So I don't know who would have been a fit for that. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't want to waste a lot of time like trying to ponder, like who would have been a better choice for either Kirk, Uhura, or Khan. I really have no idea what I would have said. Um, but definitely, I know that they could have been better choices. Can each of you give me the name of your favorite Star Trek series episode? Tomorrow is Yesterday. Oh, Tomorrow is Yesterday is probably in my top five. Definitely, it's in my top five. I loved. Uh, is it Lieutenant Christopher or Captain Christopher? He was intelligent. He processed things quickly, but not like insanely or unjustifiably quickly. Very sharp, very likable. Captain Christopher, yeah. So we got here The Naked Time. I find The Naked Time is a great episode to explore the characters because it's just the fifth episode and we get to see them in a completely different light as if they were drunk. We see a crying Spock. We get crazy things happening. We have naked Sulu. It's an amazing episode. It's just a funny type of episode, and it's a shame that it didn't get as many votes so that I would do a reaction video to it. I just and it was back in the day when I didn't have a Patreon and I didn't think about making those episodes a reaction video for my patrons. So it's a shame because I was laughing hard when I saw The Naked Time. City on the Edge. Yeah, that's on my top yet. Second favorite, Assignment Earth. I haven't watched it. Tomorrow, Yesterday, el mejor. De los mejores. Zip. It's my mom speaking, so you respect. Number one for most fans. The thing is that it has everything in it. It has everything in it. And this is probably why it's such a favorite one. Like, I know that for a lot of people, the Doomsday Machine is like, oh my god, it's the best episode. I'm sorry, it didn't get me. It didn't get me. I do. Matt Decker, yeah, he was played great, but it didn't get me. You know, I don't know. I really can't really pinpoint what is it that it didn't get me. I'm a romantic is sometimes, not always. Not always. I'm not really that much into romantic comedies or romantic dramas. But in this case, in The City on the Edge of Forever, the romantic part was such a core part of it and still didn't destroy the sci-fi surrounding it. And that's why I loved it so much. Because it's not only romance, it's also heartbreak and tragedy. It's a tragedy. And I think it's great, you know? I always felt City on the Edge of Forever is rated number one only because of Joan Collins. Yeah, that's true. Balance of Terror is right there for me too. You know what? Balance of Terror got me even better than the Doomsday Machine. Defo. The Cloud Minders. I haven't seen that one. Remember, I haven't been to the third season and I haven't watched anything else from Star Trek that are not the new movies. Matt Decker did the best performance when he was describing the Doomsday Machine, but there's somebody who did a much better acting job in my opinion. Guess who? I have no idea who it might be. Ricardo, Errand of Mercy. Shit, I know that I've seen it, but I can't remember which one is it. Errand of Mercy. Just tell me the number of the episode. Holy shit, I can't remember Errand of Mercy. Sorry. My mind has been... ¿Qué es tu nombre? That's not the way you say it. Errand of Mercy. Yeah, I know it's Tentativa de Salvarme. Oh, yeah, the Klingon one. Yeah. All right, yeah. You see, the Klingon, it's Errand of Mercy. I'm kind of surprised that people didn't vote for Errand of Mercy, even though it's about the Klingons, you know? And nobody voted for it, so it just became... and this is this was a real tragedy. I was recording that video, and my stupid asshole microphone didn't record anything. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to edit my reaction video for my viewers. And it was like, zzz, the entire episode went without any sound in it. So my patrons didn't get a chance to see the reaction video to it. And I kind of made it up for them by re-uploading my first Godzilla movie. Well, it's the Gojira 1954 movie. So I made it available because I had it. I had a copyright strike against that movie, so I had to take it off my my YouTube, and I uploaded it again in a private server so my patrons could watch it. I'm going to guess Gary Lockwood as Gary Mitchell. Oh well, yeah, Gary was good. You know, in my opinion, one of the greatest, for me, one of the best performances is also William Campbell from Trelane. And I've said this many times. I loved the performance. I loved William Campbell as a performer. I hated Trelane. And I've said it 1,000 times as well. I hated the character. I hated I can do whatever I want. I understand much later that he was behaving as a child, but his performance was top notch, in my opinion. James Doohan, wartime injury to his right hand in Great Normandy, is briefly visible in the conference room when he passes a coffee thermos in the Corbomite maneuver. I'll have to rewatch the Corbomite maneuver. Dr. Simon Van Gelder, played by Morgan Woodward, was the most dramatic job ever on Star Trek. I saw Dagger of the Mind. I had nothing to say about Dagger of the Mind. It really lost me. It kind of became really slow. but I can't remember what else. Oh yeah, I was sick. I had COVID when I watched it. Peace treaty with Klingons happened in that episode. Key pivot in Trek's. I know. I mean, Errand of Mercy is a very important episode. It's a very important episode in the entire franchise, and nobody fucking voted for it. I don't speak Klingon. Will never. Trust me. I don't need to learn Klingon. Q is the modern Trelane, but Q is really good in Star Trek The Next Generation. I haven't watched anything from the new series, like I said. I'm going to be watching them, and I will be reacting if, God willing, my channel continues. I would continue watching some other Star Trek series, but I will be watching one at a time because I really don't have the time to be watching all of them at the same time. I know that many of you would really like me to post more episodes more quickly, but I don't have the time. And in my past live stream, I did ask for people that if you know someone who wants to edit my videos, if they can make a budget of how much they will charge me for every episode, considering how much it takes to do it. I'm really slow. Back in the day, editing one Star Trek episode will take me about 3 days to do it. Today it takes me a little over a day to edit a single Star Trek episode. In 2 reasons for this: my equipment is really old, so I have to process really big videos over 2 gigabytes. Now with the iPhones, they're about 5 gigabytes big, plus the episode, the Star Trek episode, which is 48 minutes long. I am editing with a MacBook Pro, but it's really old, and I only use iMovie right now because it's the only thing that I can use that doesn't leave a watermark and not having to pay over $100 a year for for getting the app. There's even more subtle storytelling in A Squire of Gothos. You may hide anywhere in the forest, and I shall seek you out. Oh my god, I miss a detail. Yeah, and I found details that some other people didn't get to catch, like the toy soldiers. Okay, so yeah, all of them in the end happen to be like, games. Oh, sorry. Left my slipper on the couch. She was like, I need my space. Anyway, I know that it was about the games and him being so obsessed about learning about war. So, yeah. Most people don't realize the actor in the Square of Gotham is also in the Tribbles episode. He played a Killingen. It's William Campbell. No problem. iMovie is more than sufficient. Don't get distracted by adding fancy transition. I don't do it. I know, but the thing is, I don't have the time to edit. So I need somebody else to do it for me so that I can release one video every week. If I don't have somebody else to do it for me, I cannot offer more than one every month because, I'm poor. I need to work. And YouTube is not monetizing my videos yet because I still need to reach the 100 mark. I will be doing, by the way, this is an announcement. When I reach the 1K mark, I will do a live stream to celebrate. Okay? So I am not monetizing, so I cannot stop working doing my classes that take a lot of time. William Campbell, yeah. This is probably the only actor I remember by name, William Campbell, because how good his performance was. That's why I remember him. So, yeah, like, I know I can use iMovie. I know, I mean, I don't spend time doing transitions and all that. But it's just, it takes a long time because my equipment is old. and because I have work to do. I don't know if, well, many of you probably don't know. I got another job dubbing voices for a very good nail technician. She's Russian. Um, and so I'm dubbing the videos because she's Russian. She does the videos in Russian and in English, and I do the videos in Spanish. So that takes my time also. And every Tuesday and Thursday, I teach English and English certifications. So I definitely, I mean, I need to work. I need to work because I need to eat and I need to feed these guys. So when it comes to priorities, my job comes first. So I wish I could get somebody that can help me, not for free. I'm like, I need a budget so that someone can do it. Like, I spoke with this Russian girl, the nail tech, and she's like, I can't be bothered editing. I can't be bothered editing. And she makes a lot of money out of everything she does on the internet, but she doesn't have the time to edit, so she has an editor. Many other great YouTubers. I'm a big fan of Charlotte Dobre. She's funny. She's a reactor as well, but not for shows. She's more like in TikToks and stuff. But I love her style, and she has an editor. I think the editor though is her boyfriend. Um, the thing is, I definitely need someone that can help me at least with the Star Trek episodes, and I can deal with the others like my Firefly, The Boys, and The Twilight Zone, and Snowpiercer. Like, I have so many shows that I had to just pause because I need to just, like, you know, take everything else out. Sorry, I saw a lot of those things, but I didn't read them. Oh, well, I already read this. Please contact Doomcock and see if you can get bigger audience from appearing on the show. You both cover science fiction. I got the suggestion. I might contact him later. William Campbell was also the Klingon caller in the episode Trouble with Tribbles. Yeah. Others can out. Did you see the any of the original? Oh, sorry. No, I haven't. Doomcock is too negative. I am not a positive butterfly either. Sulu is introduced as a physicist in the Star Trek episode where Newman has gone before. Yeah. But he also has like a very scientific behavior in shore leave. I do have a DSLR camera, and I don't use it because the files would be twice as big. Because it's a lot of power, and I wouldn't be able, like, if with iPhone it takes forever. With a DSLR camera with my professional camera, it will be worse. I would say that for a 5 minute episode, and every time I watch a Star Trek episode, it's for 5 minutes. But me, like my introduction, like, hello, it's me, you can join and follow me and whatever, and this is what I'm gonna watch and all that, and then discussing the episode after it's finished, it takes about an hour and 30 minutes. Imagine the size of the file with my professional camera. So I need to keep it smaller. Plus, I use my camera for work. I'm a photographer. So, yeah, it's not like I like to mix those things yet. The thing is, I need to start making money on YouTube so that I can stop doing other things and really commit to this channel. I will watch the original movies. Yeah, I've also heard that, oh, it was based on the communicators, the cell phone. The thing is that yeah, this was debunked as well. It was more a continuation from the satellite phone. And the satellite phone did it didn't look at all like the nowadays communicators anyway. But it's a great thought. I mean, I know that some of the ideas that sci-fi, not just Star Trek, but obviously the ideas that sci-fi brings, makes people think, imagine, and improve technology. And this is amazing, don't get me wrong. Like, I do believe, though, that, the Zoom calls or Google Meet or those things, I do believe they were kind of based on these types of shows. Like, we see these people speaking to a screen and all that, like we would see on Star Trek as well. Um, and it's great, like I said. People has all these theories about traveling in time, time travel, because somebody in 1895 decided to ride the time machine, and it's a great sentiment, I'd say, from a scientific and a social point of view, that imagination will spark this kind of technology, and seeing the strings theory and wormholes and all that, because we want to travel in time. I visited the Smithsonian Museum in Washington a few years ago, and Star Trek ship they used in the series on the display with working lights. Oh, that's gotta be amazing. I do remember somebody recommended a video about somebody who built the sets exactly the way though they were back in the 60s, and somebody made them again, and they even brought William Shatner, and William Shatner was like, holy shit, this feels like back in the day. So that's gonna be awesome. John DeMarco, Salty Trekker, Anna, that Star Wars girl, Gorilla's Random Thoughts, have all helped me in various ways. Anomi channel is tiny, but there are people willing to help. I know that, not all YouTubers are shite. I like that, because YouTubers are more real persons, I would say. They're not like, Hollywood celebrities. So they are more grounded, and they know how difficult it is to grow, so they are willing to help others. I think that's the amazing thing about about YouTube. YouTube is probably one of my favorite places in the world, um, because everything you can find there. And in all honesty, I was on YouTube since 2004. It's always been one of my favorite websites. Yes, they have a full set in Kingsland, Georgia. I went to it when it was open to the public. One. So what? It's not open anymore. I have to unblock my phone. Fuck's sakes. Oh, they use it for a YouTube Star Trek series show. Bummer. And whole satellite phones were actually connecting and talking with orbiting satellite instead of a starship in orbit. The product was called StarTAC. It's a shame. Yeah, I remember StarTACs back in the day. Horrible phones, but hey, listen, I had a Nokia 5120. That was huge. It was a huge phone. Sorry, I'm checking other messages I got from my other channel. Nothing interesting. I'm back. Anyway, so it's a shame that it's no longer open for the public, because I saw the video, and yeah, it's like it's strikingly good how everything is exactly the same measures, the same lights, the same textures, and the doors open automatically. For real, there was not a person pulling a string to open the doors. So yeah, I saw the video and I thought it was amazing. It's a shame it's no longer open for the public because I know there's a lot of people that would love to see, what it's like to be inside the Enterprise. So it's a shame. Definitely, it's a shame. Full Star Trek set. Yeah, yeah, I've seen it. I think it was one of the first videos that when I started my channel, that's the first thing that people start showing me, like, oh, you gotta watch this and all that. And it's really amazing to see that people can get to that point of making replicas. I don't criticize that in a bad light from my point of view because that's really amazing. Um, there are replicas that are worth doing. Fan Appreciation Day. Oh, weekend. Yeah, YouTube is a huge place. It's a huge place. It's amazing how uh, you can watch everything on YouTube, like everything. Come visit us for a no charge guided walk through a starship. Who's that for? By the way, I guess you're inviting everyone else to go watch it. Um, Neutral Zone Studios has partnered with the Best Western Plus Kingsland for a substantial discount offered to only to studio visitors and only minutes from the studio. Yeah, I really don't get what's about. I wish I could go and see something about it. I like one of the things that I wish I could go see for myself is a Comic Con. Um, doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I would really love to see one day with my own eyes. Comic Con, New York City. It's probably one of the biggest dreams I've ever had is to visit New York City. My dad did once after 9/11. I think it was 2004, 2005, I can't remember. You will be coming to see a full Star Trek series. Oh, I will. I hope so. You just need an American visa, and you know how easy they are to obtain, especially for us Mexicans, because apparently we're all drug lords now. So yeah, it's not gonna happen soon. Um, but yeah, it's probably one of those. Yeah, the Star Treks from the 90s. I remember those. Um, but that's that's a great thing. Um, one of the series, and this is something that I didn't get a chance to discuss. Some of the series, when I first was thinking about making a reaction channel, I took about a month thinking thinking about it. It was right when the pandemic was hard and striking, and I had some work. Then I got fired, but when I thought I could handle this, is Turtle? Is that for me? The question, because I don't know if since now people are talking that I really don't know if you're talking to me. Um, if I live in any, I live in Mexico City. I'm in the biggest city, in the entire country. I'm in Mexico City and I love living here. It has its issues anyway. uh, but I wanted to watch other series. Like when I was thinking about making this channel, I thought I wanted to react to what today is happening. Like I was watching The Boys, I was watching The Umbrella Academy, I was watching Westworld, I was watching all of those series. So I thought about, I love reacting and I love doing all of that. So I thought about doing those. But then I thought, I think I'm going to fall into everybody else's thing. So I should be doing something different. And I thought about doing the classic TV shows. And some of my candidates at first were Doctor Who, but I discarded it because I thought it's so much. It's just so much to watch from Doctor Who. And the second reason why I didn't choose Doctor Who was it was so difficult to get the episodes. Like I couldn't find them anywhere, not even torrents. Like I couldn't find Doctor Who from, the first episode. So that was an immediate no-no. The second series that I thought about was Adamant. And boy, if Doctor Who was difficult to get, Adamant was 1,000 times worse to get the episodes. Then I thought the Twilight Zone. And the Twilight Zone did stay, but for other reasons though. I can't remember what else. Well, I think those were the first two I thought about classic TV shows that I was gonna watch. Today I continue thinking about Doctor Who. The thing. Oh, sorry. I was also going to watch the Clone Wars. Lost much. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. But there's people who said that there are people who still keep them, but I have no idea. So it's something that I didn't pursue anymore. So I was thinking maybe when they kind of restarted the series to watch it, and then I thought maybe just watching, David Tennant because I love David Tennant, and I thought maybe I just indulge myself and just watch those. Um, but anyway, I really haven't worked on the idea of doing Doctor Who. I definitely rest completely on the Adamant series. Although I might order a DVD set or a Blu-ray set in order to watch it. It's always been like kind of the goofy kind of series that I wanted to watch, so I haven't discarded it completely. I also thought about watching Clone Wars from Star Wars. Because I've always heard pretty good comments about the animation and about how the story's being kept, and that we learn about many great characters like Ahsoka and others, and more about the mythology on Star Wars. But the problem is that they are 22 episodes per season, and there are 7 seasons. So, yeah, I kind of had to let that one die down a bit. So yeah, I had to like defo not really go for it. Um, but I don't know. I know that some with more contact with more people and seeing this and that, I will probably will know about other series that are classic TV that might be worth watching just because they are rare, just because they were absolutely insane. I don't know, something that makes them worth watching. I am still really set on watching the first MacGyver episodes. For another reason, let me see. UFO is interesting. Space 1999 was good too. 1 season of UFO, 2 seasons of Space 1999. How many episodes are for series? Because sometimes British series have less episodes per series. Well, what you call season. So right now I have to keep it on smaller series. Like I took Star Trek, and right now I fucking regret it because there are 30 episodes per season. It's like I'm watching a 9 season episode of today's series. It's still really long. The Land of the Lost TV show, Walter Koenig wrote an episode. No, I haven't watched it. The Land of the Lost. I'm gonna have to write that one down. But like I said, I am not going to add any more series because now people wants me to watch Star Trek Continues. I think it is like the fan made series. and then the new generation, and then Deep Space Nine, and then Picard, and Lower Decks, and Discovery, and Enterprise, and all of those. And there are a fucking lot. And I don't know if God will let me live long enough to watch all of them. Okay? So I'm gonna set with at least finishing TOS for now. Because it's a commitment that I have to do. Um, and then we'll see if I continue with. I mean, I would like to see continues because people have spoken so highly about the fan-made series that I'm really interested in watching it, but I don't want to spoil it until I finish watching TOS. Um, so we'll have to wait until that. That's like in, I don't know, 5 years from now. There are specifications of my. It's only 4 GB RAM, same as this phone. The thing is that I don't need to improve my computer. I need to change it. It's got like half a gigabyte. No. Yeah, half a terabyte space. I can't remember what the processor is. I mean, I just had it fixed because it broke once and it had a lot of errors. And about a year ago, they gave it back to me and I've been working with it. But the thing is that I also have photography things I have to do here and classes because I'm a teacher right now. So, and teaching brings half of my plate and dubbing brings the other half. That's it. Patreon gives a small portion, and Patreon pays what I make in Patreon, and this is why I really would like to encourage more people to go on Patreon and help my channel, because Patreon right now pays for my internet connection and for the platforms I use to keep this channel up. All the improvements I've made to my channel has been thank you to my patrons. Because thank you to their support, I was able to get the iPad that I'm using right now. Thank you to my patrons, I was able to save money to change to a better internet connection. Thanks to my patrons, I was able to get sorry. I was able to pay the first 2 years for when I started my channel. Thanks to my patrons, I was able to pay for the apps that I used to use to edit my videos. So their support has been everything for my channel, and this channel owes them, even though they've been always just a few, but they have been super loyal. I owe everything, or at least this channel owes them a lot to them. So whatever I could do costs money. And I don't make money in dollars. I make money in Mexican pesos. Okay? How much do American people get paid an hour in minimum wage? I have no idea how much is the minimum wage in America. Does anyone know? Or is it different per state? But there has to be like an average, right? Was it like $8 or something? I'm searching. $7.25 per hour. That's, yeah, it's pretty much here. $7.25 in pesos. $7.25. It's 130 pesos. 130. right now, the way that I've been living, and I am overworked right now. I make in one day what an American would do in 2 or 3 hours. And I am working my ass off. Okay? Um, yes, that's how fucked up we are. Okay? And we make do. And I have to feed these guys that I love with all of my heart. Okay? And before I got my job with the Russian girl that I love so much because she trusted me and now we are so happy to have found each other, I was making what you guys make on a minimum wage. I was making that in one day. That was my wage. And I had to live on $7 or $8 a day. And I had to make do. This is why I cannot make my channel go forward like many other channels can grow. It's not the only reason, obviously. It's just that I cannot produce free episodes when I'm really struggling to get something else to get paid. So, yeah, it's really difficult when you are in a country that really doesn't help you that much to grow on your personal affairs. But this is the reason why I cannot upgrade my equipment. It's not so cheap to get a $1,000 computer because for me to earn $1,000 takes months of work. And that means I would make that money in months without spending money on water, internet, food, clothes, toilet paper, all of that. Okay, it's difficult. So it takes longer, and I really appreciate everybody's patience uh, with me taking so long to produce one single episode. And I thought I was gonna be faster when I first started my channel. I thought this was gonna be easy. I thought this was gonna be super easy because I had time. I had time, and then I had a lot more time because I got fired. And when you lose your job, everything comes like a, you know, so overwhelming. And when I lost my job, that was no, well, when I stopped working in July 2020, and I didn't make any money until January to 2021. I didn't make a single dime because the pandemic, because I am a teacher, there were no classes happening. Because I'm a photographer, there were no parties happening. So I had to rely on loans and debt. And right now, and in that moment, well, around September, I was gonna close the channel. I was gonna give up. I was like, the channel is not bringing money, is not monetizing. I'm just wasting my time. So that's when I decided to open a Patreon. And I said, I'm going to open a Patreon. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I close the channel. 4 times memory than my current computer. Yeah, I'll receive it gladly. Like something beyond 4 gigabytes is amazing for me. Holy shit. The thing is, I had the flu and I still feel a little bit of irritation under my nose. But I was gonna close the channel. I was gonna shut it off because it wasn't bringing me anything but a lot of stress. Oh, and man, I don't like to speak shit about people, but there was this one viewer that every single time I posted a video, he was like, why don't you post any often? You should be posting once a week. And I was like, dude, I gotta eat. You know, I got things to do. Like, I'm looking for a job. I started a job and they never paid. And the things of the sort. Like, I don't want to be speaking about how fucked up 2020 was for me. And he was like, why aren't you posting? Like, you should be posting. And when I said, listen, dude, I am not going to be doing it when you say it, he called me an idiot. He's like, you're an idiot because you don't post every week. I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. Oh, sorry. I'm a poor fucking idiot, I said. Somebody else supported me there because the guy was being ridiculous, you know, and a lot of people don't understand that some of the YouTubers that are not in America struggle a lot. Struggle a lot. And there's a lot of things why some of them struggle. And I see it because I've spoken to some of them. Um, First of all, they don't speak English, so that reduces your viewers to. And when we do speak English, some people don't like our accents. If you have a very thick accent, people don't like it, so they just don't watch it. I've been lucky because in all of my episodes, I've managed to try to control an American accent. The thing is, as you can hear me speaking, I don't go completely American when I'm totally off from script for calling one way because this is the way I speak. And I don't like to be speaking like this when I'm doing a reaction video because I feel people is not gonna understand the thing what I say. The thing is, I have to do it in American accent because I know it brings more viewers, or at least doesn't bring them, but it doesn't scare them away. Um, Other reasons for people not liking the channels is because the quality of the video is not good enough. It doesn't look professional. Sound issues. Oh, it doesn't sound like pristine. Like, you know, a sound engineer came and people don't watch it. Some viewers are very demanding, and for some YouTubers, it's really difficult to kind of catch up with the quota of what people demands. And this is obviously not for all channels. This is mostly for reaction channels and many tutorials, by the way, because there's people with, you know, the resources, and great for them. Good thing that God blesses them with better income. But it makes it difficult for other people. I know my English is better than but many Americans, but you don't make money for speaking well. And I know that because I've been fluent since I was 13. So I've been almost 30 years fluent in English. But I was fluent in English. I was using an American accent, but I didn't get to practice because that was back in the 90s. And the thing is that back in the 90s, we didn't have internet yet in Mexico, like everyone could use it or anything. And we didn't have contact, especially because I used to live in a very small city in Mexico called Morelia. And in Morelia, we didn't have Americans. So you didn't have anyone to practice with. We didn't have internet that you can just go on a chat and blah, 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 start speaking English. No, we didn't have that. So when I finally was able to practice my English with somebody else, were Scottish people, British and Scottish people. And the reason why I like the British and the Scottish is because I'm a big fan of British and Scottish actors back in the day. This brings me one of my hardcore favorite sci-fi movies is Strange Days. Do you ever visit? No, I don't have a visa. I've been to Puerto Rico because I worked with theater in Puerto Rico, but that's it. That's it. My sister, though, she lives in Texas. Her husband is American, great guy, but that's it. I was denied my visa. Holy shit, how long ago was this? Probably 18 years ago, I was denied of my visa, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not going. I went to England. I went to Scotland because they didn't ask me for a visa. And I'm not gonna go like, please let me enter your country. Dude, you don't want my money? I'll go somewhere else where I can spend my terrible pesos, but they transform into pounds, and I spent all my quits out there, you know? Because they didn't get me to stop there. So, and I understand why American government does it. I prefer not to disclose where in Texas she lives for because it's not my information to divulge. This is her uh, her life. So as much as I can say, she lives in Texas. She doesn't live in a major city. That's as much as I can share. Um, but yeah, that's as much as I get from America. So this is why when I say to some people, yeah, if you want to send something, send it to me, sister. But they send it to their PO box to keep, uh, you know, privacy and stuff. So yeah, the thing is that I don't see my sister that often. That's the problem. That like we don't meet that often as we wish because they got their issues. I can't go to America either. My parents have been to but now their visa expired. They had a 10 years visa. I think it already expired. And right now when you want to make an appointment to the American visa to renew your visa, sorry, to the American embassy. Again, let me restart. I'm bananas here. When you want to renew your American visa, you have to go to the American embassy and to make an appointment. Right now, an appointment takes you a year. A year to get the appointment. So, no. If you're ever in Tyler, Texas, oh, sorry, I missed it. Let me get it from here. Hello? Can you just chat? British humor I like a lot. Dude, I'm a big fan of British television. Like, my favorite shows are Would I Lie to You? Taskmaster. Dude, I love Taskmaster. I love British humor. Oh, obviously everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people loves Mr. Bean. Tyler, Texas. This is my new nephew. True Vine. If you're there on the weekend, they have open taps. It's going to take a time for me to get there, considering I don't have a visa. But yeah, for some people, getting a visa is a lot easier when they have a sponsor. I don't think I would feel comfortable with a sponsor. But apparently, that will be my only way to get to visit there anytime, ever. Um, but I don't think the thing is that I'm over 40 and like saying, oh, I need a sponsor or something. You're 40 fucking years old and you're not financially solvent to get to America. What a failure. Yeah, but that's like I'm not going to America anytime soon. I think it's a lot easier for me right now to go to Canada than going to the US. And I really want to go visit Canada because one of my best friends is living there. So if I travel, if I save enough money to travel to another country, I am definitely going to Canada. Visit. She lives in a small town called Smithers. Beautiful town. She shows me pictures of the town and I'm like, this is amazing. Beautiful mountain kind of town. Amazing. Um, but when it comes to traveling, considering I grew up on the border of Mexico, Texas, you can just walk across right now. Really? Really? Because I'm gonna have to disagree with that. Um, because I do watch the news from this side of the border, so we know how difficult it is, um, and how life threatening it is. Especially now, it's become really hard, and there's no way I could cross illegally. So, no. I definitely will have to go through the visa process and, you know, make sure I don't burn myself to death trying to cross through the border that people does walking, you know. It's Canada has a lot of great actors and musicians. I do agree. I know people that believes that Canadian musicians are shite. Uh, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Brian Adams. But yeah, they have a lot of great talent in Canada. Um, I can't remember whom else. I remember like, oh, Canadian. I and oh well, if you guys want to know, one of my first crushes when I was a child was Michael J. Fox. I had a huge crush on him when I was a child. I mean, Back to the Future was 1985. I must have watched it in 1987, 88, maybe, in some of those years. So I must have been 7 or 6 years old. I had a huge crush on him. So, yeah, yeah, I know Michael J. Fox is Canadian. That's why I mentioned him. One of my favorite. Um, I love Ryan Reynolds. I think he's awesome too. Yeah, I knew Shatner is Canadian. Um, I think Doohan was also Canadian, right? I don't know. Yeah, Canadian. James Doohan was also Canadian. John Colicos, who portrayed Core, was also Canadian. So yeah, there's a lot of talent in Canada, and a lot of space too. Um, there, it's one of those countries that I'm like, wow, it will be amazing to get to know because of all these great things they have going on. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm looking at old James Doohan pictures, and he's like this old uncle everyone would like to have. He's like so plushy, and you just want to hug him. You know, he looked so nice. Sorry, I'm back to the conversation here. Back, yeah. So and in all honesty, the British actors. Can you say Canada? Do you mean America's attic? Oh my god. Thing is, it's kind of funny, and I don't mean this in a negative light, but it's kind of funny to see how America believes the center of the universe. Like some people call Mexico Canada, America's backyard. What? No, we are the front yard, honey. Um, but yeah, it's funny how related. It's not funny. It's kind of understandable how America and the U.S. are related. I, the rest of the world, all of us, see Canada and the U.S. like brothers. I don't know. It's always been the impression for everyone else that was not born in any of those countries. We see them like, the two brothers that have so many things in common, but they struggle so much to be different from one another. So yeah, I know most of the USA was once Mexico. Of course, we know. Like I know my history to a point, um, and it's like it's like Scotland and England see each other to a certain point because I mean in the end Scotland is part of the United Kingdom, um, but it's this kind of love and hate relationship they have because if you go to England, English people would say, oh, it's just that the Scottish are super envious because we are successful, we got the money, we got this and we got that. And when you talk to the Scottish people, they say, oh, you see, the English are envious, they are jealous of us because we got this because so they always say to each other how much they envy one another. And it kind of feels like that when it comes to America and Canada. I just stumble upon this, and normally I stay out of these things. I'm a 3D artist and have helped one or two others make promo avatars in their intro. I might check back. Yeah, I just need like a budget of how much they will charge for just during the Star Trek episodes. That way, I could definitely watch one episode once a week and deliver one video once a week. Um, So I just need someone to give me a price and see how much money do I really have to pay, and see if I can pay that money from my, right now it's my Patreon income, because this is the only money I'm making from this channel. So if what I make from my Patreon is enough to be paying at least once a week, I'll pay it. Don't get me wrong, I'll be happy to pay it, because that'll increase my production and I will be able to watch Star Trek more often. You know, I would love to have at least a quotation to see how much am I facing. You know, how much do I have to really pay, and see if I can make the channel work better. You know, that way, if I find someone with a good deal and edit the videos, I might be watching the new generation and Enterprise in the same year. But as long as that doesn't happen, I'm gonna have to continue doing this the way that I've been doing it. Do I have a private email address? I don't use social media. How can we contact you? Oh, it's a shame that you don't use social media. I'll post on my info my public email address. All right, but yeah, most of the times when people wants to contact me right now has been through my Instagram that I do keep public. There was a video out a few years ago when a certain presidential candidate was talking about a wall. Who could that be? It was a Canadian guy telling the US not to worry, Canada was already building a wall between us. I didn't get it again. I didn't get that. My bandana is moving. There we go. It's right in place. Yeah, right in place. Anyway, I really didn't get about the kind of, the thing is, I back in the day when Donald Trump was running for president, I was really interested in American politics and I was learning a lot about politics. And then when he left and Joe Biden was president, a lot of things happened here in Mexico from our own politics, so I really couldn't pay any more attention. I can talk to you through comments until it's a lot harder to get Mexican citizenship and the ability to work in Mexico than it is. Actually, Mexico is going through a phase right now that everyone's been speaking about. You know, the gentrification and how easy it is for Americans to come here and work. The thing is that you can work in Mexico. Mexico is like Westworld. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You just have to know the right people. Okay? As Mexican, and now that I've been living in Mexico City for over 20 years, I can tell you that I've met more Americans working illegally in Mexico. It's so easy for them to find a job. I know Canadians that were working in Mexico easily. Because you just have to find a good person. You have to find someone you can trust and they will give you a job. Okay? I know people from Iran that came here in Mexico and been living in Mexico for... How long has been... this guy... he's been living here for 20 years now. So yeah, from this side of the border is a lot easy. I know that once you cross to America, you can find a job really easy. But for an American, the thing is, if you're an American and you want to find a job in Mexico, you definitely have to speak Spanish. That's a thing, okay? And I know that for a Mexican that does domain English, it's a lot easier to get a job. Thing is, I don't want to get the citizenship in America. I don't want to become a US citizen. I love being a Mexican. I just wish I could visit. You know, that's all. I wish I could visit, but I don't want the American citizenship or work in America. I mean, if I got a job, goody, I would be making a lot more money and that would be awesome. But it's not something I'm pursuing right now. It's just not the kind of thing. I live in the now, and right now I'm in Mexico, and that's it. And there's nothing wrong to it. It's just the country is not going through the best period, especially with the kind of government that we have right now that's been making everything so bloody difficult now. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's obvious. I didn't vote for this bloke anyway, but it's making everything so difficult right now that my hopes for ever getting an American visa have been reduced to zero with this idiot we got as president. Oh my God, this is ridiculous because everyone in Mexico knows that the jobs that Mexicans do are the jobs that nobody wants to make. No, like okay, let's imagine people picking berries. Nobody wants to do it. Mexicans do. So it's always been a saying. Mexicans do the job that no Americans want to do. There's a lot of work going on. There's a lot of work that you can get in America. So this kind of comment like the US was taking jobs from Canadians, it's kind of silly because there's a lot of jobs in America. Why would you go in Canada and try to get their jobs, right? Um, but now Mexico is going through the same. This is kind of ironic because it's always been like, oh, Mexicans are taking our jobs. Yeah, maybe we did illegally. And this is something that I don't support for Mexicans, that they have to do things illegally. Do they have another choice? Not really. A lot of people that cross to the US are really poor. And I mean, when I say poor, I am not saying that they only have $2,000 in their bank account. I mean poor ass broke. I mean no money. Not even a bank account. So they do cross. And sometimes it saves lives. This is how tragic it is, that sometimes them crossing saves lives. And now, and this is something that just hit the news, Pompeo, I this guy from the US, Pompeo, just published a book. Pompeo, I don't know, some American politician, just disclosed that our vice president no, it's not the vice president, the equivalent. It would be like the exterior politics head asked him not to disclose that the US asked Mexico to receive all the Central American migrants that crossed illegally to the US. Here's the thing. There are caravans from Latin America, Central America, that cross Mexico. They go into what we call the caravans, and these caravans go all the way up to the north, and they try to cross in any of the major crossings like Piedras Negras, Tijuana, all of those places where you can cross so that they can get to the US. So the US made a deal with Mexico and said, listen, we are going to send back all of these illegal aliens. We're going to send them back to Mexico. You deal with them. I don't give a shit how. I don't care if you turn them back home. I don't care if you give them a home. I don't care if you kill them. You just deal with them. And that's the deal that we've been holding ever since we got this president in our country. This program is called Stay in Mexico. Okay? So now people is complaining that Central Americans are taking the jobs that Mexicans should have. That's how ironic it is. So we are being the filter so that the US don't have to deal with Central American migrants. We are the trash can in the US eyes. So in the past 5 years, I've seen an increasing number of people from Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, not so much. But I think the biggest amount of people come from Honduras that cross to Mexico and El Salvador as well. So every time more, I see a lot more people here, either asking for food, asking for money, asking for a job, and people with work. And also, I've noticed in the past 10 years maybe that lots of gangs have also increased in numbers, especially gangs with Colombian people. Where I live, in my neighborhood, there's a gang, and they are commanded by Colombians. So we are now kind of dealing with what America, the US, had to deal with. The problem is that we don't have the money to be dealing with this shit anymore. Well, we've never had the money anyway, but yeah, now the situation in Mexico has changed. We are overpopulated now with all of the people that has been sent back, and these people don't want to go back to their countries. And who would blame them? I mean, if you've ever been to Honduras, you will understand why you don't want to go back. I've been there, and I know how horrible the situation can be for a lot of people there. So the situation in every single country has become worse. Uh, but what I really am kind of frustrated is that my country is really not doing the right decisions anyway. Honduras is a literal banana republic. We went there to help set up school when I was in the Navy. Yeah, my brother-in-law pretty much says the same. Um, and people there have a different way to see things. But, I mean, they have a different way to see it, like people from the US. But a lot of Mexicans also think the same way that people from Honduras think. Um, it's horrible because we have really poor, and I mean like really poor states here in Mexico, and they don't help themselves, and it's dragging back. For us, states like Oaxaca, Guerrero, Chiapas, Tabasco, all of them are the equivalent of Florida in a much higher scale. Horrible, horrible, and it's horrible to speak like this about your own country, but it doesn't deny reality. And I know that the decisions that governments take, like America doesn't want to let Mexican people come in, like if you were from Europe or if you were from, a rich country, even though we're neighbors, right next door neighbors, I understand the restrictions. Because we haven't behaved well, you know, and it's part, consequences are part. Ma, descansa. Ya no es hora de que estés despierta esta hora. So yeah, it's sad because you know that things are not going to change anytime soon. So all you have left is for you to change. So yeah, horribly speaking, this is the reality here in Mexico. Like how things are slowing down. Quartermass and the pit. I don't know if I've seen the pit. Or have I heard something about the pit? Can't remember. But it does ring a bell. Oh, this reminds me. I was going to, and this is still a project I have for my patrons only. This is not sci-fi that I know, but I want to watch Spaced, which is like what, like 7 episodes long or something like that. It's really short, with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. I am definitely gonna be watching that only for my patrons, but I really need for my patrons to be a little more diverse and not just Star Trek sided. So for that, I do need to make the channel grow. Like I said, this is not just a Trek channel. Sci-fi though, and even though I know space is not completely sci-fi, um, I love the idea of watching it. I haven't watched anything about space though, because I really don't want to spoil it. But I'm definitely gonna make it a project of making the Patreon series there. Anyway, um, yeah, like I said, the pit sounds of something that I've heard before. The pit. I hated that the first Outer Limits. I've heard about Outer Limits, but I haven't watched it. Ah, shit! I don't want the pit. Is it 15 seasons? The pit. Because if it's 15 seasons, I'm not watching it. Sorry. Oh my god. Oh no, it's just once. Ah, I'm sorry. I'm getting a Turkish series called Çukur, and it's translated as The Pit. So I don't know if that's the one. Oh, 1960s. I think The Pit was also released as 20 Million Years to Earth in the US. So yeah, probably that's not what I think it is. Oh, Quartermass. So no, it's not what I thought it was. Let's see who's in it. Andre Morel, Czech, Linder. I don't know if that's the name. Anthony Bushell, John Stratton, and Kristen Finn. Opening theme Mutations. Trevor Duncan is the musician. Multi-camera, 31 to 36 minutes per episode. That's kind of weird, isn't it? All right. So it's about a skull that was like an unexploded bomb. Okay. Well, no, but it sounds kind of interesting. Like I said, for the rest of the world, like if you're from Mexico or Latin America, we didn't get a lot of the American or British productions from back in the day. Okay, we didn't, because that TV shows cost money. Um, in terms like how can I say this? If you wanted Baywatch, for example, Baywatch was famous because it was very expensive for a TV station to get the show and broadcast it. It was a very expensive show. So, Mexico, getting a foreign show was super expensive, and they would only buy or pay for the series if they were truly successful. El Chapulín Colorado is just one character of the series. It's just one character. Actually, the name was Chespirito. Alien ship discovered underground London. That's the thing about Quatermass in the Pit, because this is what I was reading about. A strange skull. It was an exploded bomb. Anyway, so it's difficult. It was difficult back in the day, especially in the 80s, and in the 90s we started to get more American shows, but I remember in the 80s we would only get shows like Magnum PI, MacGyver, V. um I'm trying to think of really 80s shows, but the shows that I would watch in the 80s that were American were those, I would say. And then in the 90s, we got the, I don't know how it's called in America. It's this agreement that Canada, Mexico, and the United States have, like this commercial treaty that was just renewed. Um, and because of this treaty, we started to get a cheaper price for TV shows, and this is why we were able to watch more. And it was by the end of the 90s, we pretty much had the most viewed shows available in Mexico. However, we didn't get them all. Only the rich people could really get to see everything, and for that, you will have to have a satellite dish, and that will only be for the rich. Um, so when people mention some TV shows from the 60s, from the 70s, we don't know them. We don't know them unless you are super internet savvy and get to see all of those things. That will be the case, but it's not really common for us to know about those shows. I remember I had no idea about Adam Adamant until I was in England, and I was like, "Oh, you ever seen about the show?" I was like, "Fuck, never, ever." Um, oh, bugs everyone in London. That sounds interesting. Uh, so I know that there's a lot of gems out there that are worth watching, but we didn't have the pleasure because we didn't get to see those. Hello, you're awake. You're awake. I know what that means, and that's we need to go to bed. This is the time that I will usually go to bed, 10:30 or something, because I wake up earlier now in the mornings. Tomorrow is Monday, and I do have work to do because I didn't work since Thursday. I got a horrible flu. So this is her way to tell me time to go. So I think I'm gonna cut it short. It's already been 150 minutes speaking nonsense. But I'm glad I did it because I've been always. Yes, I will put my email address on my information and my channel in this About tab. I'll update it. And I will get my email contact there. I don't know if I will open a new. No, I have a lot of email addresses. So I'm just going to get my easiest one to share. Oh, it's a lot easier. If you've seen my videos, you will see that I have my Instagram account at Tamara Tenil. It's the same at gmail.com. Okay, it's the same as my Instagram account, Tamara Tenil, at gmail.com. That's my public email address. In case people want to contact, is the same as my Instagram handle, just at gmail.com. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for you watching. Thank you, Mom, even though my mom has already been back to bed. But if you're watching this, hello? Spell it. It's TAMARATENNILLE at gmail.com, or you can watch any of my videos, and the Instagram handle is always at the beginning or at the end, and in most of them is in my description of the video. I try to put my Instagram handle there, but I'll still put it in my info because I do think I should have a contact info kind of thing, for people to like it's kind of weird for me to see people that don't use social media. And for a lot of us creators, but yeah, for all of us creators, it's a lot easier to handle through social media. That's a lot easier to lose, and you don't feel so bad for doing it. But when you are an influencer, you definitely need an email address anyway. So again, thank you again for joining me on this nonsense tirade of live stream. We got to discuss a couple of things of Star Trek, and I hope I could set some things clear about what the channel is really all about and what I'm about. Anyway, hope to see you in the next episode. I since I was sick, by the way, I'll try to edit the reaction video to Cat's Paw because it's still in the works. Gracias, pa. That's my dad, by the way. Um, anyway, I'll try to work on it tomorrow. I don't know if I can be able to finish it tomorrow because I still also have to do all of the work that I didn't do because I was sick and I'm dubbing and it was horrible because I was speaking and I sounded like a broken machine. So now I have to catch up with all the work that I didn't do. So I'll try to catch up with those videos as soon as I can. I also have to finish The Boys. I have to restart the Twilight Zone. And I have to finish Firefly also. So as soon as I can finish those and then try to push back a little more on my Star Trek series, and hoping I can find an editor that can help me with that kind of work, we will make this channel work and flow. That's what I expect. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I will be seeing you next week. I hope next Sunday we can make another live stream. But I have no idea what to speak about next live stream, so you guys leave me a comment on the rerun of this live stream. What subject should we be speaking about next Star Trek Sunday live stream? See you guys in the next one. God bless. Bye bye. Hello. How do I turn up here? Yes, finished.